finding a narrow rhetorical escape hatch where he says something to the effect of, we don't trust the results, but we're not contesting that he lost. We're joined now by someone who knows him well, as mentioned. Barbara Rez is a former Trump Organization executive. Her new book is Tower of Lies. She has been a friend and decoder of many of these issues for us on the program, and we are also joined by our friend, the New Yorker's Jelani Cobb. Barbara, do you agree with Michael's point that there is not much strategy here, but rather a man so unable to process or deal with being the loser that he is now on the quietest stretch of his entire time in office?
Let's see. He can't deal with being a loser. The notion of being a loser is something that he couldn't even possibly conceive or believe. So I don't think he believes that he's a loser quite yet. I think he's so angry that all the plans that he set up to make sure to guarantee him a win, like, for one thing, the voter suppression, which he had going all over the country with these Republicans and the post office, he's in shock that he didn't win. I think he thought he was going to win. So now it's a matter of resting. And again, I'm not sure that he's convinced he didn't win, but based on his logic, it's a matter of resting now this loss, as it were, from the victory of Biden. And he'll do anything. He will do, and Michael's absolutely right. If all else fails, he will burn down the house.
When you worked with him, did you ever see him this quiet this many days in a row?
I've seen him quiet. I don't know if it's been this long. I don't think anything has ever lasted this long in his life, anything like this. And this will last for a long time. He's being quiet because he doesn't exactly know where he's going yet.
When did you see him this quiet?
A couple of times when he had minor setbacks, like the big thing in my mind is always the West Side Yards problem that he had. He had this big plan, and he was going to build, the world's tallest building, blah blah blah, and he got knocked out by that. The opponents were more powerful than he, and he had to capitulate to what they wanted. And he was very quiet during that period of time where he was thinking and admitting that he could not do what he wanted to do, that he would have to give in. And of course, by the way, he didn't give in. He did what was right. He managed to get the city that hated his plans behind him for standing up and doing what was right for the city.
Jelani? Story of his life. Jelani?
So, I think that the silence is what concerns me, because this is still a person who wields an extraordinary amount of power. I think that, we have a checkered record when we talk about institutions keeping Donald Trump in check, quite frankly. Time and time again, first it was the Republican Party was going to rein him in, and then it was the awesome responsibility of the office would do it, and then it was the general, and then it was the norms. And then it was the inspector generals, and then it was the threat of impeachment. Remember when Susan Collins said that? None of those things have chastened him. And so, I take this very seriously. I don't think that the one thing that I think is beneficial is that the consistent thread in his career, his business career and political career, is ineptitude, showmanship that masks, an underlying great reservoir of ineptitude. And so I don't know that that he has the wherewithal, capacity to execute something as complicated as undermining the government of the United States after a duly elected person will be inaugurated. But I don't know that he can't do serious damage outside of that. And there's one other thing that I think that we should be mindful of. We're embarking, even if we have, a smoother transition of power, in January, we have embarked on an extraordinarily dangerous path because Donald Trump began his political career by delegitimizing Barack Obama, a person who was born in the United States, a citizen of the United States, and whipped up a mass frenzy around the belief that he was not, in fact, a citizen. He's effectively doing the same thing to Joe Biden. To place him in a position where even if he gains access to the Oval Office, there's a huge constituency that not only didn't vote for him, that not only disagrees with him, but view him as the illegitimate occupant of that office. And that is a dangerous position to be in. It makes me concerned that the threat of violence may extend beyond simply this kind of maelstrom of Trumpism into the next administration.
Well, let's engage with that premise a little bit, Jelani, because we were talking about it earlier with other guests. There is this line of being serious about the threat and the goal, and it's early days. We also do have data that I want to present so viewers can understand this in context, where there are many issues we all know, climate change on down, where relatively clear facts and science are overwhelmed by these political agendas and conspiracy theories. You can go all the way back to Richard Hofstadter if you want, but we're not yet seeing that here. And I do think that's also important. And I think it's maybe partly because Donald Trump has been, to get back to the theme, so quiet. He hasn't used the messaging architecture that he maybe has and found ways to give people something to hold on to. So this could yet change. But I want to show the viewers here, most Americans know exactly what's going on. They actually polled this, kind of a goofy thing to have to poll, but the vast majority say Biden won. And Republicans, you see 6 in 10 say Biden won. I think we have a bar chart as well I want to show where only 3%. Yeah, here you go. Biden won, blue. That's everybody. 13%, not yet decided, whatever that is. If you actually go to where Trump's message would want to get to, it's a rounding error. We can reveal this, Jelani. It's 3%. Trump won. I think we have that. 3%. Whether it reveals or, yep, there it is. So you see, Jelani, it comes up slow, just like Donald Trump's arguments have come up pretty slow, but it's there. 3%, that is a sliver of a rounding error. Does that tell you that people aren't buying it at this time?
I don't know. I mean, you and I can both camp out in front of the Four Seasons landscaping and see, where's another press conference that's going to enlighten us about where the state of our democracy is.
You first, dude. You first.
But I mean, I'm also a little skeptical of polls. I don't want to go conspiratorial here myself. I'm just saying that I remain concerned. I think just the nature of what we have seen in the past 4 years has been so corrosive and so dangerous that I won't really feel relieved until we're on January 21st and there's another administration sworn in and operating on behalf of the American people.
Barbara?
Let me say, has it mattered what the people think? Honestly, the people are for the health care. The people are for freedom of reproduction. And yet it doesn't matter. It's what Trump wants, what the Republicans want, what that little target of people that they need to support them want. So now you've got 3%, but you've got Mitch McConnell buying it. You've got Pompeo, for Christ's sake, buying it. You've got Barr out there encouraging people to start lawsuits. So it doesn't really matter what the people are thinking right now. It's a matter of what Trump can pull off. And also, I think he is keeping his base running, because when he goes, and I think he will go, and by the way, I think he'll leave the country, he's going to have the people he needs here to stir up all and foment all the problems that he needs them to do to keep himself going, to keep him being, he's the guy on the outside, he's the objector, he's the strong person, and so this is, part of everything. There's always a demented plan somewhere or another. It may not even make any sense to anyone but Donald, but it's there.
Well, you speak from knowledge. I will say, Barbara, we're going to keep an eye on it. You said, does it even matter? We're tracking that. I think it will matter a lot if there's just a wing of people who are angry that he lost, which is what it currently looks like. The 3% saying very few people on his side actually are confused. They think he lost. And they're angry about that. That, to me, would actually be different than the feature that Jelani was talking about if it's a birtherist type scenario where they actually, over time, are genuinely tricked into something else. But we'll be tracking all of it. And, Barbara, I know your style, the Upper West Side diner style you have, you said, does it even matter? Rhetorical questions. When COVID ends, I look forward to going back to a diner with you in the real world. We'll take Jelani, too, as long as he doesn't make us walk to that other press conference facility.
Oh, God.
Deal.
Deal.
Okay.